The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 23rd day of September 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Wells, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamel Hartman, and Maya Palacio will be with you in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. Look, I'm happy this morning. Guess what? No, I think I lied to the audience, and I have to apologize on this beautiful, well, it's beautiful where I am, but hopefully it's beautiful where you are. But this beautiful Monday morning, I have to offer you an apology. I was not forthcoming with you all. And for that, I humbly apologize. I told you all that my favorite season was autumn. That's not the complete truth. As of yesterday, we are now in to autumn, which is, you know, as far as climate and weather, it's the best season there is. But it also means that it's pumpkin season. That is my favorite season, pumpkin season. So happy pumpkin spice season to everybody. You know what I'm actually right now? What is your favorite pumpkin flavored dish? Like what? Hopefully you like pumpkin flavored stuff, but what's your favorite pumpkin flavored dish or thing or whatever? Let us know what's your favorite pumpkin flavor thing. Suzanne Ingham says, awesome Monday, Jamel and Maya. David Michael Wilson says, happy Monday, TDH fam and crew, and happy Monday to both of you. Appreciate you sticking with us. Absolutely, Kathy Rogers. Pumpkin season. September represents the start of pumpkin season. You know, September was always a great month. Kathy's birthday, my birthday, Hadeline's birthday, Traveling Trotter's birthday, and the beginning of autumn, and pumpkin season. Yeah. David Michael Wilson says pumpkin pecan pie. I haven't had a pumpkin pecan pie. That sounds interesting. That sounds interesting. How does the pecans go on top of the pumpkin, or they go underneath for the crunch? That sounds interesting. Kathy Rogers says pumpkin pie. Yes, pumpkin pie. I like pumpkin muffins too. Pumpkin like cupcakes, and I can do it all, folks. But it is pumpkin season. Happy pumpkin season to all of you. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. We're having a good one today. We have Adam Scott, the founder and CEO of BermudAir, coming on today. They're going to be discussing their first year in service. They just celebrated 1 year of flying, so looking forward to that conversation. Don't forget, please do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Got some pumpkin lovers out there. Shonette Sumner says, boiled pumpkin with butter, pumpkin pie, pumpkin soup, but never a pumpkin drink. Yeah, I don't think I'm going for the pumpkin drink either. No, they had pumpkin eggnog years ago when I was still on dairy, and that was pretty good. The pumpkin spice eggnog, that was pretty good. Oh, David Michael Wilson says either. Love it. With the pumpkin pecan pie. Suzanne Ingham says, what lie? Pumpkin is not a season, Jamel. Regular pumpkin pie, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin muffins. Yes, pumpkin cookies. How could I forget? pumpkin is a season. We just created one, Suzanne. Come on. We just created one. Yeah, but all right, let's jump into today's conversation, audience. If you haven't already, let's start this show off really good. Let's give a like, a love. Make sure you share the link to your family, your friends, your colleagues. We have some important things to discuss this morning, and they kind of correlate based on what our conversation is going to be this morning. Correlates with BermudAir. The question of the morning is pretty straightforward. What are your thoughts on the latest developments around the Fairmont Southampton deal? All right. What are your thoughts on the latest developments on the Fairmont Southampton deal? And if you're just tuning in, if you haven't been following this, well, the Royal Gazette, just reading from the Royal Gazette, the title says Premier confirmed sign off on Fairmont Southampton funding. Goes on to say the government's 75 million sovereign guarantee backing the remaking of the Fairmont Southampton Hotel was executed last week with Clarion Bank legislators were told yesterday. This was the premier in the House on Friday. In keeping with a statement by West End Properties, the resort's owners, David Burt, told the House of Assembly that full financing for the development had come through, enabling the project to proceed. He said it signaled the most resounding endorsement of Bermuda as a tourist destination, of the jurisdiction as a place for sound investment, and in the government of Bermuda as a valued partner to the private sector in support of economic growth and tourism recovery. The premier said the $560 million investment in the project would proceed with the Fairmont Southampton Hotel Act 2023 coming into force effective today. Now, if you're not familiar with the 2023 Hotel Act, I'll just give you a bit of it. So the new this is coming from March 27, 2023, and this was it's funny because the tourism minister at the time was Vance Campbell, who is now on the other. Oh my word, politics will give you a headache. But the Fairmont Hotel Act 2023 will come into force to govern the full package of support provided for the project. Tax and customs duty concessions for the development will be structured as a rebate, rather than direct relief, the House heard. Now, again, what are your thoughts on it? Because I don't want to, go on a tangent and tell you how I feel, but I also don't want to be hypocritical with this. Right. So before I share my thoughts, I'll say this much about the Fairmont Southampton deal. I was, having worked in the Bermuda tourism space, having worked as a person responsible for selling Bermuda and getting people to Bermuda in large groups, I understood the importance of getting this hotel back open. I also have said on this show, I would not want to be the premier or tourism minister, probably anyone in cabinet or the tourism sector, because Bermuda does not seem to have much leverage in this space. You can go to almost anywhere in the world and build a hotel for so much less and make your money back. Bermuda is not that friendly in terms of offering that kind of opportunity. So I am, it was always going to be a difficult decision for them, whichever way they went. I'll share my opinion on this deal after I hear from a bit of you in the audience. It's not going to change depending on what you say, but I don't want to lead you any particular way. But question of the morning is, what are your thoughts on the latest developments around the Fairmont Southampton deal? And we've got Michelle White says, when I read about the financing, I immediately think employment. Now, residents from age 14 and over need to prepare. Don't wait for the hotel to be built, then expect to be chosen to work. Well, yeah, let me go to that part. So the premier, according to the Royal Gazette, said, though this is not a new hotel, it's important to note that this is the single largest tourism investment in Bermuda's history. Mr. Burt said that the restored hotel would be akin to a brand new first-class resort with 15 months of construction, creating about 700 jobs and injecting $500 million in foreign capital into the economy. He said that despite those who have campaigned against the redevelopment and continue to spend their days lamenting that the sky has fallen, critics of the project inhabit their own echo chamber. One thing, he's a very sensitive guy, huh? Very sensitive. Worried about critics. Well, let me say this about the jobs, as the premier just mentioned that as well, Michelle. You don't just create something and hope that people are trained to do the jobs, right? If it's like a business, right? If Bermuda was a country where the people lived off the land, right? If they lived off the land and just ate vegetables, right? They only ate fruits, vegetables, grains. You're likely not going to open a steakhouse, right? You're not going to open a steakhouse. If Bermudians for years have been guided away from tourism and prepared for other sectors, then you can't just say, oh, this is going to create jobs, because I noticed the language that's been used, right? If you go back and let me just, I want to play this, folks, because I'm famous for keeping things around, but I want to play this because I want to just see the language, the difference in the language. So give me a second.
Another WhatsApp forward today, because debates are difficult, and sometimes you might say a word or two, and people know I talk a lot. But this government also, and I know this is important to you, President Fairmont, sealed a deal to reopen the Fairmont Southampton, creating hundreds of jobs in construction and hundreds of BIU jobs after reopening. Now, why do I talk about a WhatsApp forward? Because I think it was the gentleman in the back, Sean Connolly, wrote a story on Monday, and the headline says, Fairmont Southampton deal signed. And I remember it came up online, and I wrote the editor of the Royal Gazette. I was like, Mr. Editor, it was late. I'm like, Mr. Editor, I'm a little bit concerned about this story because, as explained, we signed the heads of terms. We're going through the closing.
Yeah, what up? So the language he used then, BIU jobs, right? The language used today, creating about 700 jobs. You see where I'm going with this, audience? If Bermudians haven't been prepared to take on the jobs, not just the construction, but in hotels, then are Bermudians really going to benefit from this? See, watch the language that's being used. Watch the language that's being used. I'm not even harping on the fact that this has been said for years that this deal's done and different. It's the heads of terms versus the. I'm not even harping on that. But it's okay saying that, people need to apply for the jobs, but are people skilled in it? And here's the other thing. I remember when I was, in college and people would try to drive you towards IB and I had no interest in it, right? We've got to make sure that people are interested in these jobs. We don't want people working in tourism and hospitality that are not going to be of service to Bermuda and Bermudians. No more do we want people working in constructing a hotel who have no interest in construction or building. Gee, you close the door and the thing fall apart, right? So anyway, question of the morning, what are your thoughts on the latest developments around the Fairmont Southampton deal? But also, do you believe that the Fairmont deal is what's best for Bermuda? Now, again, I've been a proponent saying that this hotel needs to open, but I want to go on and add something else though. Because people ask, well, Jamal, what's your concern? A couple of young brothers on Twitter, what are your concern? What's your concern with the deal? And I said, well, let's go back to the Royal Gazette on May 7th, 2022. When MPs passed tax concessions for Fairmont Southampton. And they said, well, Jamal, what's wrong with that? And I said, well, it revealed that the government, as stated, will guarantee $75 million, representing 21% of the revised cost at that time, which was $376. And when I thought about it, said the tax concessions over customs duties, hotel occupancy tax, land tax, and the employer's portion of payroll tax. Let me tell you why this bothered me. And this is not about the Bermuda government. This is not about GenCom, West End Properties. This is not about Fairmont Southampton. This is about billionaires getting breaks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know everyone's fighting for business, but I have a problem when taxpayers, we've got to stop acting like government is doing stuff. This is not government doing stuff. This is government utilizing the taxpayers' dollars to do stuff and then taking credit. If anybody should be getting clapped, it's the taxpayers for allowing the government to continue to use their money. But I have a problem. In these big cities throughout the United States, you have teams that will go to a city and they'll call themselves the Jamal Hartman Hawks, right? If they're in the city of Hartman. And then if the city of Hartman doesn't give them financing or help them build a new stadium, they threaten to leave. And they say, well, we leave, we're taking all these jobs with us as well, right? I have a problem with taxpayers funding billionaires. That is an issue for me. I know it's part of business based on the capitalism that we exist in, but that's a problem to me. But do you believe that the Fairmont deal is what's best for Bermuda? All right, let's get back to the audience. Bingo, Sean. BIU jobs do not mean Bermudian jobs. I agree. And that's what my point is. Sean DeShield says, certainly good news for new potential local hotel workers and our economy. However, hopefully this project deal does not end up like Morgan's Point. Well, you brought up the M word, Sean. I was hoping I was going to avoid it this morning. But you brought it up. Michelle White says, I mentioned only the people because the college has offered programs that have not attracted the numbers of students expected. I think, Michelle, good point. And I hope that this does give an opportunity to actually drive up numbers for Bermuda College. Hopefully there's a partnership, I don't know, with the college in terms of training people to be able to lead that hotel, Bermudians. I'd like to see a Bermudian GM and directors and the like throughout the hotel. Sean at Sumner says, bang, Bermudians should have been involved in training as soon as the hotel closed. Bermudians will get hired and do poorly and get fired, or they won't get hired at all, period. Times have changed. I just don't think Bermudians have an interest in being of service in that space anymore. I just don't. And this is based on my experience working in tourism. This is based on my experience being a visitor to Bermuda as well, and also visiting other jurisdictions to see how they go about doing tourism. Michelle White says, I don't expect 700 to be Bermudian, but they can't complain if they don't get ready themselves. The industry has failed to highlight the opportunities in hospitality. Suzanne Ingham says, exactly, Jamal, say it louder. Some are deaf. That's not nice. Seva Painter says, and then you have when people apply for jobs, are they really being considered? See, she's touching on something now. Let me hit this point, folks. I remember when the One Bermuda Alliance were government, and they kept saying that, we're going to create jobs. And I said, I think you guys are going about this all wrong. Number one, governments shouldn't be responsible for creating jobs. Government should be responsible for creating legislation and policies that allow businesses and organizations to create jobs, right? But I'm not quite sure it's the jobs that Bermuda has a concern with right now, because people are going to be underemployed unless these hotels are charging out of the roof prices. How are people working in a hotel full time going to be able to survive off that one job? We're not discussing this. We're not having these conversations, and we need to. And then you say jobs, right? Are Bermudians the only jobs Bermudians going to be able to have are on the entry level? Are there going to be opportunities for the management positions? Are there going to be opportunities for, director positions? This is an important conversation. So she says, Seva Painter says, the bigger question lies is, are we, the Bermudians, being considered for these jobs? Suzanne Ingham says, Jamal, I have a problem with that too. No, I don't believe it's best for Bermuda. Here's the final question. We know what happened with the Honorable former Finance Minister, Curtis Dickinson. He resigned over this deal. And I want to ask you, audience, this question real quickly before we go to the news. And we've got Adam Scott, CEO of BermudAir, coming on right after the news break. Who do you trust more with Bermuda's economy, Premier Burt or former Finance Minister Dickinson? Just a quick Bart or Dickinson, let us know. Charles H. Jeffers II says, I support the hotel reopening as it's very important for the industry. My concern is the rising cost from 200 million to 300 million to now 550. The guarantee is 75 million. How much more are the concessions worth? Charles, yeah, 376 when the original in 2022 was agreed, and now 550, right? Or was it 560 or 550, Charles? 560, yeah, 560. Charles, that concerns me. And again, as I said at the beginning, I believe this hotel needs to be open, but at what cost to the Bermudian people? All right. Sean DeShield says, my research confirms that most young Bermudians have little or no interest in seeking hospitality careers. Charles H. Jeffs II says, I have said in the past that one of the biggest mistakes was closing Stonington Hotel Training School. I think that was the same thing as closing the Tech Institute, right? I think along the same lines. Here's the thing. We keep talking about jobs, right? I've said this over the years on this show. Hotels are not charities. They're businesses. I'm sure Bermudians, you love to travel. I know you've been to a hotel where you don't even have to engage with a front desk person. With the way technology is moving, are they really going to create this many jobs? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. That's a question we should be asking ourselves. Again, who do you trust more with Bermuda's economy, Premier Burt or former Finance Minister Dickinson? Send your answers. Let us know. We're going to bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break. And don't forget, we're celebrating 1 year of BermudAir with CEO Adam Scott. Don't go anywhere. Stick with us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you today?
Pretty good this morning. Pretty good.
Well, MP, you know what? I just want to thank you for the clips you make that just come in handy years later. You know, I just looked. I said, oh, it's still here. But you know, Maya, I've said this about you before. I saw someone share a clip last week that you had done years ago. The internet never forgets, folks. And when you have people out here doing the work for you, just a little search, put the word in, and you'll find it. It's so important to hold in not just the government, but ourselves accountable. You know, you all don't think I go back and I don't admit it to you all out loud, but you don't think I go back and watch Daily Hour programs and be like, dang, Jamal, you shouldn't have said that. Oh, it happens often. My point is, without the people doing the work, accountability is just that much harder. So appreciate you, MP.
Yeah, of course. Yes. When this conversation even popped up again, I even went back for that video and saw that it was there. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's still there. And I did notice, yeah, a couple of people probably like 2 weeks ago, maybe, or a week ago. Yeah, I saw a lot of retweets on the same clip that was put up on Twitter, and like people again rehashing it and talking about it again, and like going over what was said back then, the time frame versus what's happening today, and the amount. So, yeah.
Okay. How's the Monday news looking? We've got some good stuff, right?
Got a couple of good stuff, but we're starting out with things that are still pretty good news, but still just of concern for the island. So good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour news break brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. So starting out, a suspect has been arrested in connection with the firearm incident which occurred on Thursday, September the 12th at Crewy Hill Road in Warwick, which left a 48-year-old male with gunshot wounds, as you'll recall. While the suspect, a 42-year-old male, was arrested by police today, on that day, executed a warrant at a residence in Warwick as well. Now, the items liable for seizure were also recovered at the scene. And again, the police are saying that this investigation is still ongoing, as well as all the investigations that have to do with shootings or any disturbance across the island. So if you know something, please say something. You could always just contact 211. It's the easiest route to go if you can't recall the police number, but you can also speak to an officer whom you know.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't say this to be disrespectful, but the crazy thing is when you say there's been an arrest for a shooting, I really have to really try to remember which one that was. And that is sad for such a small community.
Yeah. And, just and looking back at it this morning when I was reading it too, I was just like, oh, wow. Yeah. Another arrest. And I had to think, I thought it was a different one, truthfully. And then I had to recall this one as well, because we have had so many shootings across the island at such a high rate. I think it was, I reported that it was like 8 last year, and now we're leading up to 14 or something in this year already. Like it's nearly doubled. I'll have to go back and bring the statistics for you guys tomorrow. But yeah, I do recall that was a report coming through. Well, in other news, and what's been talked about a lot already, as we are mentioning it here on the show this morning, the Honorable Premier David Barrett did put out an update on Fairmont Southampton Princess in the House of Assembly as well. Let's just listen to this first beginning statement, and then we'll go into some numbers. So here's what he had to say.
That the full financing of the redevelopment project of the Fairmont Southampton Hotel has been achieved, and all parties have funded their obligations such that the project can now fully commence. Mr. Speaker, I can further confirm that the government of Bermuda, as previously indicated in this Honorable House, is supporting this project with a sovereign guarantee of the sum of $75 million.
I've said this on the show before. I'll have to check the author, but it's a book, leadership book I was reading. It's called Principles of Leadership. And in this book, I just want to find it so the audience can, search for it themselves as well. But it's called The Principles of Leadership. The author is named Patrick Lencioni, I believe. But anyway, in this book, it really speaks about, leadership's not about celebrating the deal, basically, or the appointment. Like Maya just got named as the director of news. That's not the celebration. The celebration is the work that you do. These guys sound like, robotic cheerleaders. Like we need to be celebrating the opening, not the announcement, because we've had this same announcement almost on an annual basis. It's like this is around the time we celebrate the Fairmont deal, right? It's like the annual party. It's almost like New Year's at this point. It's nothing to celebrate. We shouldn't even celebrate a hoe going into the ground or a shovel, whatever they call it. The celebration comes when the work is completed, when you see it benefit the economy. But this is what we live with. We live with people who celebrate getting elected, not celebrate delivering for the people of Bermuda. Continue, Maya.
Oh, moving on to some more things that Premier David Barrett did say in the House. This one, again, doing with finances. And I guess we could call it promises about jobs and security.
Mr. Speaker, this is a $560 million transaction, which signals the most resounding endorsement of Bermuda as a tourist destination. Mr. Speaker, the redevelopment and ultimately the reopening of the Fairmont Southampton is of profound economic importance. Its closure has been felt throughout our economy and limiting our capacity to host large group business. The reopening of the 600-plus room hotel will not only restore, but significantly reshape our hospitality landscape. Mr. Speaker, put simply, the construction phase of this redevelopment is scheduled to last approximately 15 months and will create approximately 700 jobs.
I have nothing more to say on this.
Okay. So we're looking at a time frame of 15 months. So this seems to be the biggest thing that I'm cluing into, just to see where we're at that moment. All right. So some pretty exciting news right now going into the arts and theaters. 2 Bermudians have been recognized for their contribution to the arts after receiving nominations for the Black British Theatre Awards. As Ryan Day has been nominated for the Best Lighting Design. Meanwhile, Sedona Sky has been nominated in the Best Graduate category. The organization states, quote, "We shine a light on the breadth and depth of Black talent in the UK theatre industry. We honor the accomplishments of Black performers and creators. We articulate how essential the contributions are to the success of theatre in the UK and around the world." Now, the award winners will be revealed during a ceremony at the iconic Lyceum Theatre on November 4th. So good luck to those 2 in this nomination.
Awesome news. Yeah, big up to
Definitely. I'm curious to see their works. I saw on Sedona Sky's Instagram that she is right now in a musical called Heather. I think that's what her nomination is also for. So if anyone's seen that or knows anything about it, give them a shout out. Happy to find out more about the works that they do. Now, in our sports related news, because I love to bring out sports, the Bermuda women's field hockey team right now has lost their first 2 matches at the Pan Am Challenge, rallying against 2-0 to Paraguay. They lost, and then 5-0 to Mexico. Now, Mexico is a huge contender to win the Pan Am Challenge all around, as they sit at the highest rankings in this group and have been favorites for this challenger leading up to the Field Hockey Women's World Cup. This is what they're competing for right now in these games. So only one team can progress forward, and the Bermuda women's team will be gearing up to play Peru tomorrow. That's Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the National Sports Center to try and win their first match in the challenger.
Yeah. I was at, I saw the Mexican team a couple of days last week, and I was like, we could take them. We could take them. I know nothing about field hockey, but I'm just saying, I was like, we could take them. Don't take my word seriously, but we can take them. I'm sticking with it.
I want to say that Mexico is ranked at 30 or even higher than that. They're pretty up there. This is a very intense match. It's a hard match. Again, a lot of these countries we have not played in a while. I played Mexico in 2015 in the CAC games. I can tell you right now that was a big wake-up call for me as an athlete, those CAC games up in Mexico. So, congrats to the team, because it's hard to stick in. And I did watch a bit of the game, and they did stick in there for a very, very long time. So unfortunate how the ball rolls sometimes. But as we're looking at the weather right now, it's a mix of sun and clouds, a chance of 1 or 2 showers today. It's just been like that for a while. So just make sure you're being safe and cautious on those roads, slowing down, taking your time, all that jazz to get where you need to get safely, because people want to see you safe. They don't care if you're late. Just make sure you're safe. And we got a high of 84 degrees today. All
right. Thanks so much for that, Maya. Before you came on, I did ask a question. Who do Bermudians, who do you trust more with Bermuda's economy? Premier Burt or former Minister of Finance Dickinson? And looks like a resounding Dickinson. Suzanne Ingham says Dickinson 100. JPXFRD said I trust Dickinson more. WKD Lama says not the Premier. Silas Lynch says Dickinson. So, and Kathy Ampena says give me Dickinson every day of the week. Alrighty. Well, we do have a days of the year, Maya.
Oh, before you do days of the year, I actually have hopefully a good surprise for you. I didn't tell you this, but yesterday I actually, for the members on YouTube, any members on YouTube, if you type in Indeed or LOL, you might be able to get some new emojis put up there for you on screen to use on the show. So if you're a member, test it out. Type in Indeed.
Indeed. Why Indeed? Why Indeed, Maya? Oh, she's a frozen popsicle. Look at that. She's a popsicle, folks. So since she's a popsicle, we're going to say goodbye to Miss Indeed. And let me give you your days of the year, audience. All right. So today is Education Technology Day. Yeah. Education Technology. So that said, I remember when I was in school, my educators and teachers, they were saying that you can't take a calculator through life with you. Well, that's a lie. Right? So I want to ask the audience, what technology exists today for students? What technology exists today for students that you wish you had had? We're going to take a quick break. And we'll be back with Adam Scott, the founder and CEO of BermudAir, coming up right after this. Give us a minute, 57 seconds, but let us know what technology exists for students today that you wish that you had when you were in school.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose Peoples, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it Peoples. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. Peoples, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Micro Loan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses, whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment. We provide 100% guarantee on approved loans, simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Summer is almost here. Dive into the season with dog floats and dog pools. Enjoy 20% off West Paul's dog floating toys and shop our life jackets for safety in the water this summer. Get all your summer needs before the holidays and events begin. Don't forget to stock up on poo bags and check out Dicky Bags, the poo bag holder that locks in the smell until you can dispose of it. Remember, even dogs need sunblock, so visit Noah's Ark today, Bermuda's most trusted animal supply store for all your summer essentials, and ask us about our rewards program.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical Halls, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Please do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right. Before we went to break, I did ask, it is, what is it? Education Technology Day, I think it is. Education Technology Day. And I asked, what is something that exists for students today that you wish you had when you were in school? Sean DeShield says Chat GPT. WKD Lama says fast internet. Charles H. Huffs II says Google. AI is my second. You're that old? You didn't have Google when you were in school? Gee, even I had that. Not aging you. My apologies, Charles. Michelle White says computers. Try doing a 10-page project on a typewriter. So there was no backspace. The streets will never forget. Computers changed the game, you know? Language models, ChatGPT, says Sean Smith. Laptop, Google, Chat AI, says Renee Simmons. And affordable laptops, says Misha Fubler. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, we're going to bring our guests in today. Let's give them a warm TDH welcome to Mr. 1 year anniversary, BermudAir President, CEO, Adam Scott. Let's give him a warm TDH welcome. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Woo! Adam, see how they're trying to play you, man.
Morning, how you doing?
How you doing, my look? I don't know. I wasn't trying to send the police after you. I don't know. Some things happen. Adam, how are you, man? It's been a while.
Very good, thanks. Very good indeed. Very good.
I've got to ask you, as before we jump into today's conversation, what, as far as technology goes, it's Educational Technology Day. What piece of technology that exists today for students do you wish you had when you were in school?
Ooh, I don't know. This AI stuff, it kind of scares me, to be honest with you. I think it's better to remember back to the days of Coles Notes and other easy ways of doing things rather than using technology too much.
Yeah,
we'll have to get our hands dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you, because I actually like going to libraries, especially in graduate school. So I'm not quite sure. I'm still iffy about a lot of technology. I'm late to the game with it, but I appreciate for what it's worth. But I just remember, as I said, my teacher, especially math, because that was never my strong point. Well, you can take a calculator with you through life. And I'm just like,
that's right.
Yeah, it's on my phone right here. So if Adam gives me a little, something to work out, I can do it right now. So yeah. But hey, thank you for coming back. Congratulations to you and everyone at BermudAir on your first year. But let's just get right into the first year. You just celebrated 1 year. How would you rate BermudAir's first year in service based on what your own expectations were going in?
Honestly, I think it's been brilliant. Obviously, our plans changed over time. We made some pivots, as everybody is acutely aware. But I think in retrospect, the pivots that we made were the right ones. I think that the team has been fantastic. The way that we've been embraced here in Bermuda has also just been nothing but fantastic. And really, apart from a few ups and downs, and no pun intended, but some of our technical issues that we've experienced in the past, well in the past now, thankfully. I think really it's gone pretty exceptional, and I'm super pleased and super proud of what the whole team has come together to achieve here with BermudAir.
Yeah, I think Bermuda was probably something that really excited our community when we heard about it. I think the biggest challenge people had or concern is they didn't know how to pronounce it, right? People still say BermudAir. I just say it with me, BermudAir. It's quite funny watching people, and I'm entertained by it. But I think that was one of the coolest things because it kept people talking about it for me. So when you come into things, you want people talking. But let's talk about it because you mentioned some technology things. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced and encountered during your first year, and how were you able to respond to them?
Yeah, I think the initial setup, we did everything really in record time, and again, we couldn't have done it with all the support that we had. But I think from a challenge perspective, clearly launching 7 routes now with only 2 aircraft has been a challenge, and of course, we're making moves now to bring on board our 3rd aircraft, and we'll look forward ultimately to a 4th aircraft. That will, alleviate some pressure on the system. But it's because we're a lot more complex and sophisticated than we originally envisaged. Of course, when you've got 2 aircraft operating to 7 destinations, it's just more complex. And so I think that's just one of the pieces. But we've really brought in and built up a great team. On the technical side of things, our operations team, they're second to none, really, and I mean that. So we took our aircraft. We had to iron out some kinks early on. We've ironed them out. We have exceptional performance now, and so I think the challenges that we faced are just really typical of a startup. They're very typical of a new entrant into a new market and into new markets. And so I think actually, as I look back on the previous year, yeah, we had some challenges, we had some stresses, but overall, I think it was just it's been superbly executed by the team, and I think if you put that into perspective with other startups in our business, with the complexities of an airline and all of the various bits and pieces that go into it, the team has performed exceptionally well.
Indeed. Audience, if you have any questions or comments for Adam about BermudAir's first year in service, please send your questions through. We'll get through as many questions and comments as we can. When it comes to business, the community impact is just as important as the revenue generated. How do you believe BermudAir has contributed positively to Bermuda for Bermudians during your first year of service?
Well, it's I think it's been really important, and I'm glad you asked the question because I can spout off numbers. I can tell you, for facts, we've contributed over $40 million to the Bermudian economy. But I think, and we've brought thousands of passengers into the island. We've brought thousands of passengers from markets that didn't have previous direct connectivity. So we've brought new people to the market, and interesting sidebar, but nearly half of our passengers have flown with us more than once, and a lot of those passengers are originating from the U.S. and Canada now, and so we've brought a new way to bring people to the market. I think it's really also about being Bermuda's homegrown airline and being based here. The thing that I'm most proud of, really honestly, is our team. We have pilots, we have cabin crew, and then everybody else. But all of these individuals have moved to Bermuda. They've moved here with their families. They've moved here with their kids. Their kids go to school here. So every time somebody flies with BermudAir, they're contributing directly to the economy. It's not like the other airlines that come, touch and go, drop people off, bring people home, or take them back to the U.S., Canada, UK. What flows through BermudAir actually has a real trickle-down effect here in Bermuda, and so I'm really pleased because our 85-90 staff, they're here in Bermuda. And so the contribution is not just the passengers that are coming here and what they contribute, but actually it's the entirety of BermudAir that is contributing, day in, day out to the island, which I think is really, it makes us unique.
Indeed. Love that. Love that. And audience, I'll get to the questions and comments from you in a second. Keep your questions and comments coming. Can you delve a bit more into the community impact? Because I was reading a story about how you were working with young people with aspirations to get into aviation, which I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to, it's one of those things with an island and here in Bermuda. I think anywhere in the world you go, people are always fascinated with aviation, and it's one of those funny things. When I read when I look at Maggie's list and I see comments, somebody once told me, a wise man or woman once told me that the one thing about aviation is that everybody has an opinion. And I remember in my first trips to Bermuda, one of the things that really, pushed me into this was I'd be sitting in a restaurant, I'd be walking down the street, and everybody always had an opinion, was talking about, the other airlines and air service development. And so I think, the big issue there, or the big point is that people are fascinated with the industry, and I'm really, really proud. We were able to offer effectively an internship program, the first of its kind for us. Earlier this summer, we brought in a group of young individuals, young people who had aspirations for working in aviation, different parts of the business. Some wanted to be pilots, obviously. Some wanted to be in engineering. Some wanted to work in ground handling. Some wanted to work in catering, wherever it might have been. And frankly, the team was able to bring these young people into the business. They sat down with all of us and met with various parts of the business, just like my first internship program. When I was a student looking for my first job in banking, and the team really pulled it off really well, and the enthusiasm of the young people that came in, and it was awesome because, in fact, some of the kids came in, they wanted to be a pilot, but then they realized, actually, no, I don't want to be a pilot. I want to go into engineering, or I want to go into flight planning, or something else. And it was actually the best part of it was at the end, after their time with us, they actually presented to myself and the senior leadership team of what it takes to start an airline, and they provided these incredible presentations. And I have to be honest with yourself and your viewers, I actually learned quite a bit, and frankly, I'm looking forward to welcoming a number of those individuals, if not all of them, back into the organization at some point in the future, because it's that enthusiasm that I think, being here on island, we've actually really been able to harvest some of that and to get people excited about real opportunities in aviation, and whether it's with BermudAir or with anybody else on the island. All of our parties at the airport contributed to that as well. So we have great partnerships with Skyport, with LAE, with everybody at the airport, Menzies, etc. And everybody was a part of that. So it was really, really exciting. I'm really pleased about it. Oh, you've got on mute. I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you. Brilliant. I want to go to the audience for a few comments, but I knew this question would come, and I knew you always get this question, so I was prepared for it. Sean Smith asking, are you going to add any long-range planes to your fleet so you can service Europe?
Well, let's just say that that myself and the entire team are very ambitious. It was ambitious getting to where we are today. But we do have plans to expand the network. We'll expand the network next year, and as far as going a little further the other way, that's always been something that's near and dear to my heart. So watch the space.
All right. Last time he said watch this space, Canada was up next, folks. I remember. Charles A. Jeffs II, he says, congratulations, Adam. I'm proud to see what you all are doing. Personally, I would love to see an Atlanta route, as that is a huge gateway city and destination. Speak it, Charles. Speak it.
So I think there's a lot of markets that make sense, and a lot of markets that will be really interesting as well as we look to develop more partnerships with other airlines as well in the future. But we've got a good list of markets that we're very excited about. And I will share those with yourself and your viewers. Certainly, we'll aim to share those with everybody a lot sooner than we have otherwise done in the past. But there's a lot of works and plans in motion right now.
All righty. Seva Painter says, I would like to see BermudAir emulate the Bermudian experience for all incoming tourists.
I'm not sure what that means, but certainly, one of the proudest things that I have about our team and about flying with BermudAir is that we have this really unique attribute, I'd say, for BermudAir, and that is that our crew, who are second to none. And by the way, of our crew, last time we spoke, I think we had 6 Bermudians in our crew. We now have 9 Bermudians of a total of 20. And I'm very pleased to say that Shanika Hayward has actually graduated or elevated to a senior cabin crew member, our first that we've promoted to the senior position here on island. But the biggest attribute for us and what makes me most proud is that actually our cabin crew are friendly. They smile to their passengers. So I think from the moment people get on board the aircraft, they're already getting a really good flavor of the hospitality and the warmth that this island, gives to people when they come and visit.
Indeed. Thank you for that. And I think you kind of answered this next question, but Charles H. Jeffs II was asking what percentage of BermudAir's staff are Bermudians, and is there an annual goal to increase that percentage? Is there a goal on trajectory, or is that?
It's we're always looking to increase the Bermudian participation, shall we say, or the number of Bermudians in the organization. But really, very frankly, for me and for us, I think it's all about getting the best people for the job. And what we've found actually is we've got a lot of our best people from here in Bermuda, and so I don't think it's even a question of trying to fudge the numbers and make a higher percentage of Bermudians. It's just a natural evolution of our business. It makes sense for us. We're based here in Bermuda, so it makes sense for us ultimately to have as much Bermudian participation, as many Bermudians as possible, and we're seeing that across the organization. Cabin crew, that's really just a natural evolution, and so it's. We've definitely, we are, we like to aspire to being, Bermuda's airline and to making all Bermudians, or to giving pride to all Bermudians of being, Bermuda's flag carrier. The reality is that's happening naturally. And I think the natural and organic approach is always the best one.
Indeed, indeed. We've got Renee Simmons says, I like the implementation of the Gombe Incorporated with BermudAir design, and the color scheme is very unique. You've got Travel and Trotty says, I have booked my first BermudAir flight. Looking forward to the experience. For someone who's never flown it, because I think Michelle White said earlier, what would you tell them? I mean, I've had the privilege of flying it quite a few times, but what would you tell them makes the experience so unique versus other airlines?
I think it's just the first of all, it's our crew. They're front of house, and they're all unique. They're all very keen to be where they are. They provide an exceptional experience for staff. For passengers. I think the products that we have on board, we've tried to bring on and to ensure that we've got as much Bermudian content as possible. So everything from a dark and stormy to Amani's cookies, and so on and so forth. I think that's really, really important. but it's, you know, the hardware of the aircraft, you know, they're smaller, but they're still, you know, very spacious. And I think, you know, it's just much more of a family feel. And I think that's something that I really pride myself and I pride the team on, is that it really is it's a BermudAir family. And when we go beyond that and we look at, you know, Bermuda as a whole, it's the family of Bermuda. So I think it's much more of that coziness. You know, you're not just a number, you're not just 13A or 26B. You know, you're actually, you know, yourself on our aircraft, and our team, I believe, you know, goes out of their way to make sure that people feel that warmth and hospitality.
Indeed. We've got Sean Smith asking, is training done on island for your in-cabin staff?
We do a lot of training on island where possible, but we also we invest a lot of capital into our team. So you know, I believe all of our Bermudian crews have traveled abroad, whether it's to the UK or to Canada for the requisite training that can't be done on island. But we're working with local partners here as well, so that, you know, we can ultimately become more self-sufficient here on island. So whether it's safety training or whether it's you know, emergency training, we're trying to bring more of that on island, working with local partners. And so ultimately, I think that's part of the vision for us, is that, you know, we can actually be as self-sufficient as possible here on island, leveraging all of the talent and the resource that actually exists here. It's just not been, you know, it's for us and for aviation, there just hasn't been an outlet for it before. But that really goes back to my organic growth, you know, narrative. It's really that there are opportunities to do more and more here. At the same time, where necessary, we'll continue to invest in our staff, and get them, you know, other world experience to make sure that actually we can bring home best market practices here on island, and that we can really make Bermuda as proud as possible, because we are, you know, we're the best that we can be.
Indeed. Manda would like to know, she says, we'd love to see one of Bermuda's favorite snacks, Glam Pop, on flights. I know you do work with local vendors. How do they go about, you guys go about those partnerships?
I think actually, in the first instance, send us an email. I think the best email for that is just info@flybermudair.com, and we're definitely keen. In fact, it's funny because I had no idea what a Glam Pop was until about 6 months ago, and one of our local team brought me one in, and I couldn't stop eating them. So don't send the email to me personally, because otherwise I'll have other personal issues, you know, eating too many of those things, but they are delicious.
Sorry, that was all right. One last question from the audience. We've got Charles H. Jeffs II. He says, are there any plans to implement the loyalty program? Many of us are loyal to other airlines. Having said that, the BermudAir experience is second to none, and I would love to fly more often. Update us on the loyalty.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are. It's something that we're acutely aware of. We've had to prioritize things. We're a small team, right? So we've prioritized things like, for example, BermudAir holidays. So we're working with all of the hotels, with the hoteliers and the hotel association to bring more people to the island, especially in the shoulder and off season. And so we're really excited about what that's going to contribute to Bermuda, especially in the months ahead and before we come back around into the next summer season. But the loyalty program is a big one, and we've got big plans for that. We're going to make it very attractive for individuals. We're acutely aware of everybody that's flown with us so far, and those that are continuing to fly with us and book. So we've got something in the works there. It's going to take a few more months, I think, but we'll get something, and I'm sure that you know, with the passage of time, we'll be able to convince any of those that are otherwise, you know, remaining loyal to others to give us a shot, and to certainly look at moving that loyalty over to us, because I appreciate what Charles has said there, and I think that again, it's all about the staff, and it's about what the pride with their work, and that we can do something, and we are different to those that have come and gone before us.
All right. And how do you intend to build on the success that BermudAir experienced in its first year, Adam?
Sorry, how do I missed the question there, sorry.
How do you intend to build on the success that BermudAir experienced in its first year?
We're always refining. We're always looking at ways to improve, systems, to improve our connectivity with partners. We've got to refresh our onboard products. We want to. We've been in a. Everybody's been working so hard to get us to the launch and to get us to some level of maturity. Now it's all about refining things, and of course, the introduction of a third and a fourth aircraft. Looking at new markets, bringing on board new products, working with new vendors, new and existing, I should say, but it's really, we're starting to see that we've got time to actually look back and say what has worked, what hasn't worked, and I think that's got to be, it's really something that's inclusive across the organization, just so that everybody's got a viewpoint, and everybody's got something additive and creative to improve the overall experience. And so I think we just keep working away, and the great thing is, the team is motivated. Everybody's very passionate about their job and what we're trying to achieve here. So I think it's only onwards and upwards from here.
All righty, Adam, thank you so much for always making time for this platform, engaging with our audience. And I'm happy every time I see that more of our audience has experienced it. So please keep in touch. Let us know if there's anything we can do. Any big news that you want to let us know first, feel free. We'll be sure to do that. But thanks, Adam, and we'll be in touch.
Pleasure. Thanks, Jim. I'll take care. All the best to you and your listeners.
Thanks so much. All right, Adam Scott, folks, if you appreciate today's conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share it with your family, your friends, your colleagues. Look, folks, we had a double conversation on pretty much Bermuda tourism today. After this break, we'll wrap it up and also give you a daily play. So stick with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in about a minute, 25 seconds.
Did you know 3 out of 4 people say that they have a good understanding of life insurance? But do they really? When asked how much the yearly cost would be for a 20-year, $250,000 level term life insurance policy for a healthy 30-year-old, 80% overestimated the cost by 5 times the amount. Ready for this? The true cost for that policy is about $220 a year. That's as little as 66 cents a day, or $20 a month. So let's put this into perspective. Compared to other monthly costs, isn't getting life insurance a no-brainer? If you can trim back on some of these expenses just a little bit, it will allow you to dedicate the savings toward an affordable life insurance policy. Contact one of our life insurance agents today to find the right policy for you.
Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Paired with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
All right, welcome back to the Big Show. Thanks again to Adam Scott, CEO and founder of BermudAir, for joining us this morning, having a conversation. So much more to discuss with him, so many more questions, but we only have so little time. But appreciate him always trusting our platform and making time. Again, if you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and make sure you if you're able, book a ticket and experience it yourself. Really cool experiences every time I've been on it. All right. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores. Bermuda Trivia, the game show, another episode will be available tonight on bcgtv.com. If you've never watched an episode of Bermuda Trivia, if you've never experienced Bermuda Trivia, if you're too chicken to be a contestant on it, I must say the last person I called chicken to be a contestant, they done pretty well. So I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent. For people who don't care what others say, we certainly do care what others think about us. Oh, I can't do Bermuda Trivia. I don't want to look silly. I don't want to look stupid. Interesting. Anyway, follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. It is a Who Said It today. And no, it's not a Bermudian, but guess the author of this and you'll go in this week's draw. All right. This is the quote. Very popular quote, actually. Here we go. First person to answer correctly on my screen will enter this week's draw. Quote, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." End quote. Who said it? We got a winner. We got a winner. We're gonna put the U in there for her, but it was Frederick Douglass. Shawnette Sumner, you are on the money. So Shawnette, you send an email to engage. No. Sorry, no email. You go into this Friday's draw. Sorry, you go into Friday's draw for this week's prize. But congratulations to you. It was Frederick Douglass that said, It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. All right. Let's wrap it up, though, regarding this morning's conversation around Fairmont, Southampton. I think the hotel being open is a great thing for Bermuda. It should be a great thing for Bermuda. But I continue to tell people it's nothing to celebrate. Number one, until it actually opens. But number two, until you see it's truly benefiting Bermudians. My reservations with deals like this and any deal involving billionaires is that I don't believe taxpayers should be funding billionaires, be it guarantees and then the tax concessions. I think, did we have to give up that much? I understand that Bermuda doesn't have much leverage, but I'm not quite sure Bermuda got the best deal. And that's because I probably trust Curtis Dickinson a bit more than the current government as in terms of cabinet when it comes to what's a good deal as far as finances for Bermuda. So as far as BermudAir, I think that whether you've flown it or not, I love the fact that Adam was focused on providing facts, $40 million into the economy, creating jobs and opportunities for people. It's not going to work without the support of Bermudians. And I don't mean flying it and paying money into it. But when I say support is sharing social media posts, sharing links about it. I remember people saying, I'll wait till they get popular or wait to this or wait to that. They don't have a loyalty program. If we all waited, it won't last. We have to have the courage to support those who are just starting. It's that simple. Congratulations to BermudAir, the entire staff, everyone who's been involved in making the airline, successful to date. And I wish them the best. I wish them the best going forward. I'm wishing them more success and hope that the economy, the Bermudian people continue to benefit from their existence. All right, folks, your daily inspiration is going to be that same quote. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And that's Frederick Douglass. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making this part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. I am out. Peace.